Greetings, old school magic players, and welcome to the Four Horsemen. Greetings, old school magic players. Welcome to the Four Horsemen on a Saturday. Today we're going to be covering some Tournament 14 top 8 matches. I'm here with John Eckleberry. Hey John, how's it going?
Good.
We are going to be covering some top 8 matches from all the way back in Tournament 14. It's been quite a while since we did this tournament. This ran over the summer, May 17th through June 16th. You can check it out if you want to look at the deck photos or any of the tournament info. Just go to fourhorsemenmagic.com/tournament14. Sticking with the standard banned and restricted, we've been running this banned restricted for a few tournaments, and folks seem to like it. It seems to have balanced out the format quite a bit. If you'd like to play with us, check us out at facebook.com/group/fourhorsemenmtg. All right, John, so you're in this match that we're covering today, but you say you don't quite remember too many details because it was too long ago.
It was a minute ago. We're on tournament 16 right now, and this is back at tournament 14. So this would have been in August or something like that?
Yeah, this was May 17th through June 16th is when we ran this.
All right.
You can see the top 8 here. We had John won his group, Tim Kincaid won his group, both 3-0. Frank won his group, which was our Europod. JS and Christopher Zach also made top 8. Harvey, one of our folks from Singapore, made top 8. Michael slid into the 7th slot, and then we had a tie between Tim Wygand and Ian Stedman. They had to do a playoff match, and Tim won that one. So the brackets ended up looking like this, and we're going to cover this first match, John Eckleberry versus Michael Chilcott. For the deck overviews, John, you can help us get into the details since you're playing your Blue Steel Robots deck, which has been quite the evolution, and it looks like you're matched up with another Robots deck.
Yeah, Blue Artifact versus Blue Artifact. It's pretty straightforward. He has a few different tricks though than I do. I mean, even just in this graphic that you have up, I'm not playing 4 of those 5 cards in the ones that you selected for him.
Yeah.
Only Triskelion is a crossover card. So he does have a bit of a different build here.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to those in a sec.
All right. Well, let's take a look at your deck first. Blue Steel Robots back in the top 8 again. You've been piloting this deck, evolving it for quite a while.
Yeah, just kind of mixing and matching a few of the slots, but it's been pretty consistent. I'll be happy actually to kind of get away with it and play something different in T17. T16 is singleton, so it's a little different. But yeah, this deck has come a long way and has done pretty well against the field. This version is pretty straightforward. Just all the flyers with 4 toughness. Elected not to play Serendib Ifrit in this one. I've been kind of on and off with Serendib depending on how heavily Spirit Link and other things have been being played in the meta.
Right.
Force Spike is just always great. I love it. Getting somebody good with a Force Spike is definitely good and can turn a match around. Yeah, and the sideboard keeps changing from tournament to tournament too. Time Elemental is always important to me, so I almost always have that there. But like I see that I have Old Man this month. Some months I don't. I do like that card quite a bit, though. I don't remember if I brought it in much in this tournament, though.
Yeah, Time Elemental, that card has really proven itself to be difficult to deal with if you don't have a, some type of chain lightning or pyrotechnics or a Triskelion, something. You got to be able to, ping that guy and get rid of him before he gets established and you have mana, or he can be a big problem. I really like this deck. You added the Amnesias to it and the Force Spikes, and like you said, you've been piloting this for a while. I think the Amnesias could be absolutely brutal if you catch somebody, like playing a more control deck and they are holding a lot of cards in hand. That could be a game winner right there.
Yeah, it's really interesting against some of the enchantment-based decks that we're seeing too. My defense basically is to be able to bounce those things, and then if I have a really good sequence, maybe I can Time Elemental something at the end of their turn and maybe boomerang something, and then Time Elemental something else, and then hit them with an Amnesia, and I get all that stuff in their yard so they can't replay it.
Right.
Or maybe just against another control deck, you get them good in the kind of draw go world. There's only the one mana drain, so there's really only one thing that can counter it. I guess Force Spike can counter it if conditions are right, but yeah, it can be pretty brutal.
And the one of Recall to get your mana drain back or get your Triskelions back or whatever, also pretty strong.
Yeah, definitely.
The sideboard you've also got is that an arena down there?
Yeah, it's not a card that I've toyed with it a little bit in different decks in this format, and it just kind of, I don't know, it's never really shown up. It seems like it could be kind of an interesting piece of removal, but I don't think I ever really use it to good effect against anything.
Yeah, well, obviously Diamond Valley is super strong. I like the one-off Desert for, some of these weenie decks, and then of course the Old Man, he's super strong to. If you come up against something similar, a lot of these blue flyer decks have, the 4 Ghost Ship and the 4 Drakes. So the ability to steal those with the Old Man is really good.
Yeah. All these, not only do I have all these big butt flyers of my own, but if they start playing them, I can take theirs. So that's pretty good.
I just realized that gives it a whole new meaning with a play on words for your blue steal, being able to steal the other blue creatures with the Old Man.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of that. But yes, that's, in this version, this is true.
That's funny. All right, well, let's take a look at Mike Chilcott's deck. So Mike is relatively new to Four Horsemen. He's played a couple tournaments, and hats off to Mike for making it into the top 8 amongst all these seasoned and honed decks. Let's take a look at Mike's deck, John. What do you think of this brew?
So it looks like he's leaning a little heavier into the robots theme. He doesn't have any colored creatures at all. He's got the Tron lands rocking, which is cool. That's always something I've been trying to make work in this format. And then he's got a little bit of a red splash there for some removal, and it's good removal. Is it a falling star up there in the corner with the glare on it?
Yeah, that's a falling star next to the recall. Mm-hmm.
Inferno's one of the only real sweepers in the format, and Fissure is great. So, I like this. He doesn't really have any early guys for the early game. I'd be a little bit scared that I would get killed by an aggro deck. But obviously that wasn't the case because he made it to the top 8. He made it through his pod, and then he ended up getting paired up with me. It's always such a rock, paper, scissors kind of thing because in tournament 15, we ended up having to do a top 16, and in the top 16, I played my blue deck and just got rolled over by an aggro deck, which is not something that has happened to me in a while in this format. So I would be a little worried about that with this build. But other than that, I think it's pretty cool. I like Candelabra. I like that he's playing Ring of Maroof. I think Booker Ross is kind of interesting. We haven't seen that much as a draw engine. Lots of cool stuff going on here.
Yeah. Looking at his mana base, he's playing all the Tron lands, Strip Mine, Factory, Maze. What is that underneath there? I guess is that two deserts? That is
hard to tell.
Yes, it's very hard to tell. What are those lands? I think the top one is a desert, and then the one above the maze, I don't know. Maybe that's an Island of Whack Whack proxy or something.
Maybe, I don't know.
In his sideboard, he's got a tabernacle. I think is that top land there. An extra Fisher. Looks like Draftness Restoration. The obligatory active volcanoes and flash floods, another falling star, another transmute, the abyss. Interesting, he's not running the abyss main deck, and all of his creatures are artifact creatures. So I'm kind of
seems
surprised.
Like you'd want to in this scenario.
Yeah, I think he should have that abyss main for sure. He's got the 4 Felwar stones, which is really important considering he's only running the 4 Cydia Brass and the 4 Volcanic Islands. So he doesn't have a ton of colored mana sources. And he does have a bunch of double casting cost spells. Like he's got double red on Fisher, and he's got double blue on Mana Drain and double blue on Transmute. So that raises a little bit of an eyebrow for me because he may not be able to play those double spells until much later in the game, but I guess since the Fisher, for example, is kind of pricey anyway, maybe that's okay. With the
yeah, I think it's all right.
With the candelabras, he can use those to really get extra mana out of the Tron lands. And then over on the right, he's got 3 Ring of Maroof. What do you think is up with the 3 Ring of Maroof?
Well, I just think that when you have a lot of colorless mana, there's no X spells really in Four Horsemen. There's no like fireball to pump your mana into.
Yeah.
And so what do you do with all that mana? You play big artifact creatures, you play things like Mirror Universe, and then maybe you look for some other interesting things. And so Ring is essentially a 9 cost, or is it a 10 cost? I think it costs 5. Is it 5 to play and 5 to activate?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up on the Gatherer here for the viewers. Okay. So yeah,
I got one here someplace. Yeah, it's 5 to play and 5 to activate. So it's like a 10 mana, get whatever card you want. So I guess he's just the idea is just that it's a fun thing to be able to do when you have lots of colorless mana. And maybe that's why he's not playing some of these other cards from his board, or why he has extra copies in his board so that he can pull answers whenever he needs them.
And the ruling on these cards is, back the way we played it when we were kids, is you could grab any card, right? But modern rules is you grab from your sideboard, right?
Yeah, if a sideboard's present, typically in modern rules, you would only grab cards from your sideboard. Although interestingly, in 7-Point Singleton, which is another pretty popular niche old school format, there's no sideboards, but the card's still allowed. So you can basically just go get anything you want as long as it's not already in your deck, because that would break the Singleton rule because you'd be getting a second copy.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of a neat card either way. The original Wish card,
Yeah. Yeah, and so he could go and just grab whatever he needs out of his sideboard with those 3 Rings of Maroof. So that could be pretty strong. If one of the things I've noticed, if you're running Desert and you're running Candelabra, being able to untap the Desert and use it twice, you can have 2 deserts in play and do potentially 3 damage to an attacker. So the Desert with the Candelabra is really strong as a defense for these slower decks. And then
I never really thought of that, but I think it's pretty cool. And I think given the fact that I said that he might have to watch out for aggro decks, but playing 4 Candelabras really probably speeds his deck up quite a bit.
Well, yeah, because if he can get if he can get Tron anytime remotely early, he'll be able to, get the 2 and 3 mana out of the Tron lands pretty fast. But a lot of his stuff in his deck is pretty pricey, so I think he might struggle, like you said, with early aggression. And he's only running the 2 Fisher and the 1 Inferno. He really doesn't have any ways other than those 2 Fisher, and then down in the lower left, he's got a couple Thanos Coffin and 1 rocket launcher. So yeah, just at a glance, I feel like his deck would struggle with stuff that's really fast.
Which, fortunately for him, he's not playing a fast deck. He's playing a really slow mid-range deck. So we'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, I think we're ready to get into the match. We're going to take a look at Blue Steel Robots versus on John Eckleberry's side on the left versus Mike Chilcott's Mirrortron Robots. We're going to switch over to the pre-recorded match. And John, you're going to follow along with me here in the VLC player. I'll give you a countdown. Let me cue mine up. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so John recorded this match for us, and John is on the left. And oops, wait a minute. This is the wrong match. This is Franta. I queued up the wrong one. 1 second.
Oh, that's okay. I'll stop mine and back it up.
1 second, John. I queued the wrong
match. No worries.
Boo.
That's the next match.
That's the next match. Yeah, that's the one we just pulled down. I gotta get Chilcott. There we go. All right. Okay, here we go. 1.5x on the speed. All right, and let me switch on my VLC player. Here we go. Chilcott versus Eckleberry. All right. Now we're in action. Okay, John. Are we ready?
All right, let me get back over to the computer so we can start at the same time here. All right, you ready for the countdown?
All right. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you're on the left. Mike's on the right. He's got the Demonic Tutor playmat and the giant 20-sided dice. Look at the size of those things.
Oh yeah, those are massive. I've got a blue one. I don't really use it much because if camera angle's not perfect, it looks kind of weird, right? Because like you can see, he has the 20s up, but you can also see the 8s pretty prominently.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've experimented with different ways of keeping life, and I just feel like I like the digital life counter. It's really easy for the audience to see when you're watching a video.
Yeah, it's super convenient. Okay, so first turn island and first turn, what is that? The tower and candelabra.
Yep. So he's right out the gate with a candelabra, which is what his deck wants to be doing, I think.
Yeah. Fell word for you.
So I got my early strip, which is pretty good against his deck since we're only a 1-strip format right now.
Oh yeah, that if he does get Tron, you'll be in a good position to disable it.
I mean, I probably won't use it right away because I need the mana. Because my deck needs at least 4 mana to be able to play stuff. And there's too many games where I've screwed myself stripping something and then I'm 1 mana short all game and it costs me.
Yeah. Well, he's also got...
I'm thinking about it. Look at this. I do it anyway. Look at this. I'm telling my past self not to do it, and I did it anyway.
Well, I mean, you've got the factory, though. So now you can get in with the early speed damage on factory, and maybe that's worth the risk. Looks like you're looking up Fellwar Stone. Are you looking at... Yeah, you're looking at the rulings on Fellwar Stone.
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to see if it adds any mana if all he has is colorless, and it does not.
It does not. Yeah, it has to be a color. That's right. Yeah, so he can get blue from you, but you can't get any colored mana from him, so your Fellwar doesn't tap for anything right now. City of Brass. Ooh, interesting that he played that, because now he's basically making the Fellwar active again. Another Candelabra. Yeah, and see that desert idea with Candelabra, it's also really good against factory. If you've got a desert out there and you've got a Candelabra, you can take down the factory with one desert.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. And I didn't really even think about that interaction until you brought it up when we were watching the looking at the deck video. Okay, so here's what my deck does. It's not very inspired. It just plays 2/4 flyers, and then that's now my win condition, my 2/4 flyer.
Yeah, but they're strong because they're hard to get rid of. Okay, so
they are hard to get rid of.
Mike gets a very timely workshop, and straight plays down, taps the workshop. The city takes the damage. The Fellwar and his, I guess that's the mine.
Yep, and then this trike comes down, which of course I hate, because I'm sure that I'm sitting over there tapped out with a counterspell in my hand, probably unable to counter his trike, having decided it was worth it to get my ghost ship down. So now I just double down. I'm like, whatever. I couldn't counter your cool spell, so I'm just going to keep playing ghost ships and try to race you in the air.
Right. And now that he's got the workshop, if he can draw into some of his other pricier robots, he can actually use the workshop twice in a turn, or even 3 times in a turn, because he's got the double candelabras.
Right.
He also had in his deck the drawing card from the dark.
Yeah, the Book of Rukhs.
The Book of Rukhs.
Yeah, it's a 6-drop, and you gotta pay 2 life and I think 2 mana to activate it. But that's kind of cool. It's like a colorless greed.
Yeah, and so his tricky thing is he doesn't have much life gain or any life gain in the deck other than, did he have an ivory?
He has 1 tower.
Yeah, he has 1 ivory tower. And so it may be hard to use Book of Rukhs when you don't have life gain to go along with it.
You know what he does have, though? He has Mirror Universe. So what he potentially could do if he has lots of mana is draw a whole bunch of cards and then just switch life totals with you.
Yeah.
And you now have the low life total from him drawing all those cards, which I think is kind of a neat play.
Yeah, that's a great point. And okay, so here's a potential answer. He plays Thanos Coffin.
Yeah, pretty good. Too bad Workshop can't activate artifacts. He could untap it and then use the coffin right away, but
yeah, he's really
that's not how it worked.
Even though he's able to cast stuff, he's only got 3 mana to activate right now. He really needs another regular land. Okay, so you're getting...
So I'm just straight racing here. I'm just completely ignoring anything he's doing and just hoping that my flyers will get there before he does.
Yeah.
Which I guess is fine.
Yeah, just hitting him for 2 per turn. And
as usual, I'm playing blue, but I'm playing it like it's a red deck. I'm just not really...
Well, you've got that Pendlehaven on Fire playmat indicating, hey, he's still red in the soul.
That's right.
Okay, so he is attacking with the Triskelion because, I mean, why not? He can't block the ghost ships with it. So he's keeping pace with you on damage, hitting back for 4 each turn.
I'm looking up Coffin for some reason. I don't know what I want to know about Coffin at this point, but...
Well, you've got the factory over there. I'm surprised he's actually hitting in with the Triskelion, because you've got factory that you can get in for another 2 damage.
You can just kill it, though. I mean, like, if I activate the factory, he can either pop it with trike tokens, or if he doesn't want his trike to be smaller, he can coffin it. Or he could coffin his own trike and pop it out and have it have more counters on it. I mean, he's got a pretty cool setup over here. I'm probably kind of sweating it at this point.
Yeah.
Figuring out how I'm going to be able to do him 12 before he does me 12.
Yeah, and he's got it tied up now. One thing you could do is he's got the City of Brass, so your followers do tap for blue. You could move into defense mode here and just have your regenerating ghost ship protect you.
Nah, what's defense mode? I don't know what that is.
That's not in the Eckleberry vocabulary.
I don't even think it's good right here anyway, because like he could right now he can coffin one of these on the way over, which he does. And then what? I've just got like one. And then also when you pop stuff out of the coffin, it comes back tapped.
Right. So
you can play this little game where you coffin a thing, untap, and then coffin a thing on your turn, and suddenly I would have 2 tapped ghost ships, and he'd be beating me in the face anyway. So I might as well get that 2 damage in. And he did. He untapped his coffin this time and let me have my guy back.
Well, I think he did that because he also got an extra Urza's Mine over there, so he finally got a 4th land, and it doesn't cause him damage. So he can now pay to activate that Thomas Coffin every turn and still have the workshop and the so if he and the City of Brass. So if he does get a Tetravis or Triskelion or something big, he can still play it with the Candelabra and then activate the Coffin with that 3 mana. Now you've got...
Wow, I discarded a Boomerang to my small book. I don't normally do that because I like Boomerang a lot, but I must just not feel like I've got time to play it. Or maybe I have multiples. Maybe I have another Boomerang in my hand. Who knows?
Well, it looks like it was a good decision because it got you that workshop to draw, and now you can play your Triskelion. That's a... Oh, wow. He has the...
I didn't attack there, though, which I think is... Oh, he mana drained my
mana drained, yeah.
That's sad. And I must not have my one of own mana drain to stop it, so...
Wow, that is a pivotal move right there. Mana drain on your Triskelion, because that would have really swung the balance on things.
That's a bummer.
So Mike's looking pretty good.
I still didn't attack, huh?
Yeah, you've gone to defense mode here because he could hit you for 4, and you're at 8, so you'd be down to 4, and then he's got potentially, 3 more.
I mean,
damage.
I'm not going to block, though. Like, there's no world where I block that thing, because if I double block, he'll just coffin 1 and I'll lose a guy. Like, it just seems really bad. It seems like I should have attacked there. I don't know why I didn't.
Yeah, I wonder why you did not.
Maybe I was just, like, not expecting to get my trike countered, and I'm just kind of tilting a little bit or something. Who knows? Or maybe I have a plan that I don't remember because this game was a while ago. But, man, it seems bad for me. It seems like this is going to be hard to get out of.
And it looks like Mike has a 2nd Fellwar Stone now. Is that right? He's got 2.
Yeah.
So now he's really starting to get into really strong position. He doesn't have Tron yet, but he's got plenty of mana because of the workshop. Okay, so he's coffining the ghost ship. There it goes. So that goes in the coffin. And he's activating Candelabra?
I guess maybe I didn't attack because I figured I would be dead then because he could get in for... he's representing 7, basically, so he could get in for 4, he could shoot me, he could coffin his own dude, and then he could pop it out and kill me with the token. So I do block here, which is amazing. I wonder if I lose this game. I can't remember, but it seems like I must.
Okay, so you're digging with the Jaloom Tome to draw there at the end and discarding an island. I mean, you've got plenty of mana here, so hopefully you can play something big.
I can play whatever I want, but well, okay, what am I boomeranging?
Boomeranging. You're boomeranging Triskelion?
I'm boomeranging the trike while his coffin's tapped, and I must have a remove soul in my hand to get rid of it if he tries to replay it.
Aha, smart.
Because otherwise that seems bad, right? Because it just reloads his trike for him.
Right, and he shoots you with the 3 damage there at the end.
Yeah.
So now he's got a decision. Does he untap? Nope, he leaves his coffin tapped. Alright, he's got another piece of Tron. I guess that's one of the other Tron lands. He's got a really bad
This is
glare.
funny. We had guys down, but suddenly it's just my factory versus his empty board. Like, I kind of like that.
Yeah, but he's...
No, I spoke too soon. Oh, no. That's just the same. That's just the same trike that I'm going to counter. There
exactly what you were planning. You remove soul. That is a really, really smart move. Boomerang and then remove it.
So I guess it's feasible that I maybe kill him with that factory this game. I don't know. We'll see. It's funny how as a one-of, factory is still really, like, important in the format.
Yeah, I mean, Factory can just now start beating in here. And yeah, you're right, it's really strong. But now he's got Book of Ross. Not the best card at this time, but he's going to transmute it. Look at that. So that's another...
Oh, yeah, turn it into a trike or something.
Yeah, that's a great tool. So even if he can't draw with it, he can just transmute it. Really smart, really cool play dynamics for Mike's deck. All right.
And it's, he's got a lot of other 6-drops in this deck, so he can either get a trike or he can get a Tetravist. Tetravist would be pretty good against me right about now, because I got no defense for it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't counter it, because even if I have a remove soul, he's transmuting to get it, so that seems pretty good.
Yeah, because it just puts it into play. So it looks like you're looking up the rulings on Transmute Artifact.
I think I just wanted to see, if about him paying the extra mana and, the kind of timing and stuff on that. It doesn't matter. I mean, there's no way for me to stop it. I don't have... What would I be able to even do? He's got plenty of mana over there. I can't use Force Spike. I can't use Remove Soul. Maybe I was wondering if I could boomerang the thing before he targets it, but I don't think that is actually the case either, or is it? Maybe that's what I'm looking up.
Well, let me see. So if we look at
with the transmute on the stack, can I boomerang his Book of Ross? And then he has to pick something else when it resolves. I don't know.
The ruling here says the sacrifice of an artifact is an effect of the spell, not a cost, which means it happens as the spell resolves. If transmute artifact is countered, you don't sacrifice an artifact. Yeah, so it's an effect of the spell.
Yeah, so I think I end up boomeranging the Book of Ross, and then he sacks the coffin instead. And then I get my ghost ship back, which I like.
But wait a minute. The ruling says that doesn't work.
No, it's not. It says it's not part of the cost, right?
No.
So he's saying I'm casting
This says
Transmute.
this says the sacrifice of an artifact is an effect of the spell, not a
Correct.
cost of the spell.
Correct.
Which means it happens.
So unlike Goblin Grenade, where you would sacrifice a goblin as you cast the spell, this you're not sacrificing as a cost of the spell. So he's casting it, and then I'm saying, okay, cool, you have an unresolved transmute on the stack. I'm going to play Boomerang. And then our spells resolve, right? So my Boomerang resolves and sends his Book of Ross back. And then when his transmute resolves, he chooses an artifact and sacrifices it. But he no longer can choose the Book of Ross because it isn't there anymore.
Aha. Very, very, very sneaky move. So so he doesn't elect to sacrifice like a Felwar Stone or something, or he does?
Well, he could have sacrificed Felwar Stone, but I don't know that he had enough mana to then play something better. So he ended up sacrificing the Coffin. But what did he get?
Yeah, what did he put into play? It's like he didn't put anything into play from the transmute. I'm confused by what happened there. He should have been able to put something at least cost 4. Maybe he didn't.
Yeah, or he could have paid 2 extra and got a 6 cost thing.
Oh, Triskelion number 2 and Remove Soul number 2. Dang, wow, you had the answer right there.
I feel like I need to back it up and see why he didn't put a card into play. But we won't do that just yet, because let's let me get to the middle maybe.
Okay, another Book of Ross. So he's only used 1 transmute. He's got 2 more in the deck, because I think he's got 3 total. But you've got another Ghost Ship coming down. That's Ghost Ship number 3 for you. And you've got the Factory. But it's really close. You're at 2, he's at 5. Man, if that Book of Ross were just a Triskelion, it would have been game.
Yeah.
This match.
Well, if I didn't have a Remove Soul for that other Triskelion, it would have been over. But
yeah, that Remove Soul just completely saved you here.
I'm curious about that play though, where he played the transmute and then didn't seem to get anything.
Yeah, very strange. We can pause and we can go back and look at it once the match is over here.
Yeah, we'll do it in between before we go to game 2.
Looks like it was probably around like 27 minutes, so just keep the 27-minute mark in mind.
Wow, 2-1. Look at these games that come down to the wire.
Yeah, I mean, this is unbelievably close. It's really, really tight. 2-1. Oh, but you've got the Clockwork now coming in.
I did slam a Clockwork Avian on that last turn, so...
And does Mike have Tron now? Probably does, right?
Yeah, I think so. Look at all that mana. What's he doing with all that mana?
He's got a red counter, a blue counter. Oh, look at this. Inferno.
Oh my god, did the Inferno and go both of us?
Wow. Wow.
Well, we don't have to go back and check because we both die in that game.
Well, but don't we want to know what he was going to transmute?
I am curious. Here, I'll flip back and see if I can find it. Let yours keep playing, and then you can figure out where I need to start again.
Okay, yeah. Go back around the 27-minute mark and look on yours. All right, so you guys are sideboarding. I'm going to switch over to the deck photos, and let's talk about sideboarding.
That's really funny.
So for your deck, John, you've got sideboard options are Old Man of the Sea, not great, really. You've got the 3 Time Elementals. You've got your own Coffin, Diamond Valley. I wonder what you're going to sideboard here. The 4 spikes are not particularly great in this matchup since he's got so much mana, right?
when he has all the mana in the world, yeah, right. They're not very good. Yeah. I'd probably bring something in. Probably just more creatures. I bet I bring in the Old Men if nothing else, just to have
more
an earlier play.
Right.
Okay, so I boomerang the Book of Ross. He decides to sacrifice Coffin instead. He picks up his library. He looks through it. And what does he get? He gets a Triskelion, and he plays it.
Okay.
Okay. So
But-
he did get a trike. He just paid the 2 extra. He must just trike must just get killed or something.
But
later.
he
does.
He transmuted that trike into play. Okay. All right. Good. Well, let's jump back over to the deck photos. And this argument about Force Spike, right? You can argue it both ways because yes, he's got all the mana in the world if and when he gets his Tron, but as you saw in this first game, he kind of struggled with mana early game, and he got very fortunate to get his workshop. You could argue that he's going to be tapping out earlier in the game if he doesn't get workshop.
Yeah, and he has got a lot of 6 drops, right? So he maybe accelerates to 6 and slams something, and then I can just counter it, which is kind of cool.
So at first glance, it may seem that Force Spike is really terrible, but actually, since his deck is slow, it could be good. And once he does finally get to 6 mana, it could still be a relevant card, at least in the early game. Late game, I think it's useless.
Sometimes you can double them up too. Later on, they think, "Oh, well, I know you're playing Force Spike now, so I'll hold 1 mana open," and then you just double Force Spike something.
Right. Yeah.
Pivotal. Like if I could have Force Spiked that Inferno, I would have been able to win that game.
Right.
But I didn't have it, obviously.
Well, what else are you thinking about sideboarding? You said so. If you were to put the 4 old men in, what would you take out?
Probably the Force Spikes, but maybe I leave them in. I'm trying to remember what I did. I'd probably also bring in the Ivory Tower, maybe? I don't know.
Ivory Tower? I think you need to be more aggressive, not less aggressive.
Yeah, well, it's hard to be more aggressive other than the old men, because I don't really have any other aggressive cards in my sideboard.
What about...
I probably do bring in the old men.
What about Amnesia? Because you gotta have the triple...
Yeah, Amnesia kind of sucks. Well, I don't know. He's got so many high-cost things. I could catch him with a few things, but Amnesia's kind of lame as well. So I could maybe take out 2 Amnesias and 2 Force Spikes for the old men, or... It's just really funny because I don't have any memory at all of...
what else is I'm looking at here, John, is I'm looking at those Felwar stones. He does not have... He's got 8 mana that tap for a color, and everything else is colorless. So
yeah, those could come out. Those could easily come out. Those could be the old men.
Yeah, the Felwar stones could come out because you're... At least, early game... He may not have a City of Brass or a Volcanic Island, so you won't be getting any mana out of the stones early anyways, unless he happens to have one of those. But if you take out...
That was a pretty good game, though. There was a lot of back and forth. It was pretty close.
Yeah, 2-1, and then Infernoing for the win. That's amazing. Completely shocking. All right, so let's settle on this. What do you think you're going to sideboard here? And then let's take a look at his deck.
I think I probably bring in the Old Men and the Coffin and those 5 cards, and I don't even know what I take out for them. I probably take out the Amnesias and the Force Spikes. Maybe I leave 1 Force Spike in just because I don't have anything else I want to bring in. That's probably what I bring in. Old Men and Coffin.
All right, and taking out the 4 Spikes and 1 Amnesia? Yeah. Okay, let's look at Mike's deck. So Mike's sideboard is all colored spells. He's definitely going to want to sideboard in his 4 Flash Floods, his 4 active Volcanoes, because those can destroy your blue cards. So I would assume that's a no-brainer. But what would he side out to get those 4 in? I think the Falling Star definitely needs to come out because that's useless against your... Yeah,
the Falling Star doesn't kill any of my stuff. Rocket Launcher pretty much sucks against me. Unless he's using it as a win con. He could take out those Booker Ross. Well, you know what else he could really take out? Is he could take out those Ringaroofs. They're just way slow.
Well, the Falling Star has an interesting synergy with Triskelion, though. And he does have an extra Falling Star.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, and he's got an extra one in his sideboard. So at first glance, Falling Star seems bad because you've got the 2/4 flyers everywhere. But if he drops a falling star and has a Triskelion in play, he can wipe out at least 3 of those guys. So
that's pretty good. That's true. So maybe he wants to keep that.
yeah, so maybe he wants to side in his 4 active volcanoes and his extra falling star. I think these Ring of Maroof are expensive and slow. I'm not too convinced about keeping those in.
Well, all he wants to get with him in this matchup is the active volcanoes. They might as well just be an active volcano.
Exactly,
right?
yeah. So I would take out the 3 Rings of Maroof, put in the 3 volcanoes.
I think he should bring in the Abyss too.
Yes, Abyss needs to come in, absolutely. He could take that rocket launcher out for Abyss, but rocket launcher, I think, is part of his combo for his Inferno rocket launcher. He's got 2 ways to end the game there. If he can pull ahead in damage with rocket launcher, you'll have a much lower life, and Inferno can be the clincher.
Right.
I think the Book of Ross are the weakest cards, and they're expensive. And he doesn't really have much else to transmute, though, other than Mirror, which he needs to use. So I understand why the Books of Ross are there. He's got a couple of Fissures up there at the top, and he's got a Recall. Okay, so maybe what he does is maybe he takes the 3 Ring of Maroof out and 1 Book of Ross out, and that would give him the 4 active volcanoes. And since he's gonna have the red cards to get rid of your blue flyers, he still needs the Fissures though, because you've got robots too, right? So the Abyss is not going to work well against your robots. And he's got an extra Fissure in the sideboard. This is a tough one.
Yeah. It's a little harder.
I think
it's a little less straightforward than if he was just playing against, Arabian aggro or something.
Yeah, I think rocket launcher could be the 4. So the three Ring of Maroof, a Book of Ross, and the rocket launcher would give him 5 cards. I don't know, man. I don't know if Abyss is actually good. Think about it, because you've only got 8 blue creatures.
Yeah, it only kills my Drakes and my...
That's right. So
oh, shit.
I don't think Abyss is very good against you in this matchup.
That might be true.
Yeah, so I think I would go for the 3 Ring of Maroof, 1 Book of Ross, and the rocket launcher, and I just put in the 4 active volcanoes and maybe that extra falling star, because then he's got another way to tap your guys, do damage, and then combine them with Triskelion. Does he have an extra coffin in his sideboard? No, he only has 2. He's got an extra rocket launcher in there. He's got an extra transmute. I wonder if having the extra transmute would be worth it. Do you think he needs 4 candelabras?
Probably not. It seems a little excessive. But, I'm sure he just wants to get it early. But candelabras 2, 3, and 4 don't really do anything, so,
Yeah, you really only need 1 in play, especially if you're not doing the rocket launcher thing. So maybe he can pull out 2 of the candelabras. He could put in that extra transmute. And he could put in that other Fissure. I think that would be a good swap. Because he's going to need Fissure for your Clockwork Avians. Because his Abyss can't do anything to it. All right, let's jump back to the video. You guys are sideboarding. I'll tell you where to put your.
So we finish. We deal. He deals his. Oh, he's still shuffling. Hold on.
Oh, I'll tell you the timestamp, John. Just forward to.
You got it.
Forward over to 36. Where are we at here? 36:23.
36-23. Okay.
All right, you there?
I'm there.
All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so let's get this back over. There we go. All right, so you guys are doing game 2. Game 1 was a draw, thanks to Inferno. John, you were at 2. Mike was at 1, and he busts out the Inferno. So this is going to be at least a 3-game match because of the draw, right?
Yeah, you play to the wire, and then, you know, if you can't win, you make it into a draw. It's pretty fun. So, like, yeah, we've got to play. Oh, look at my turn 1 ivory tower.
Oh, wow.
So I guess I did side in the ivory tower.
Wow.
I don't know if it's actually very good against that deck after we talked about it, but I guess I did it, and I got it. So we'll see how that goes. But apparently I didn't mulligan because I have 5 cards left. I must have went first, though.
Yeah, sideboarding in the ivory tower there. Interesting. It's a 1.
I must have just felt like my life totals was so low in game 1 that I needed some kind of edge to keep me out of the
Well, yeah, because
trouble.
it could make the difference with the Inferno scenario, right? If you're able to gain some life early on, and you know his deck is not particularly fast until he gets Tron, so I can see, but it's also a 1 of, like, the probability of you getting it on turn 1 is low, but here it is. It happened.
Here it is. What is that card that he played? I can't tell with the glare on it.
That's it's Urza's land. I think it's like a Urza mine.
Oh, it's the one with the big gold face on it? That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm at 21. I draw. I mean, I'm not going to want to stop playing cards, so it's not really that effective. I'm only going to gain 1 life a turn. And if I play another card here, like a Four Stone, I'm going to gain 0. Yeah, and I do, because I don't care. Like, I'd rather develop my board than gain life. So even though I got the turn 1 ivory tower, I'm not really playing towards it, because I'd rather get cards into play. Which makes it kind of a dead, useless card, really. Like, it means I probably would be better off with a different card in my hand. Because I'm going to continue to play cards and not have enough cards to actually gain life. Go ship! He did this to me last game too. I tapped out for a ghost ship, and then he had a 6. He dropped workshop and dropped the 6 drop.
So that early workshop really makes a difference. I mean, it changes everything.
Oh yeah, so he did the exact same thing he did to me last game. I tapped out for a ghost ship, and then he plays a workshop and a 6 drop the following turn when I don't have mana up, and it's like, oof.
That's pretty fortunate.
I don't know if he was holding the workshop as a strategy, like, you know, to not play it until he could play a 6 drop, or if he just ripped it off the top. I don't know.
Yeah, and see, you're having to be pretty aggressive in putting down cards, so you're not able to really gain off the ivory tower anyway.
Yeah, I think maybe here I start drawing my hand back up, because he can't really do any damage. He just attacks and I regenerate. Like, the regenerate on ghost ship's a big deal here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I mana drain his trike. Yeah. I feel like that's gonna really be a big play, because it's gonna allow me to drop some threats next turn and still hold mana up.
Yeah, that's huge. The 1 of mana drain, you know, it's always a possibility, but you have to take the chance now that it's restricted. You can't just sit there and hope maybe they don't have the 1.
can't quite make out what I have there. I kind of flashed my cards. I think there's a trike in there, but I'm not sure. Oh god, it's an amnesia. Okay, well, I get a trike and a falling star, which is pretty okay. And then I get a clockwork avian. Oh, being able to play an amnesia and a clockwork avian in the same turn seems pretty good.
That's really strong. So you put in so you left the amnesias in. It doesn't look like you put the old man of the sea in at all.
Me today would have probably taken out the 4 spikes and put in the old men, but maybe I just didn't. Maybe I was just like, yeah, that was a close game. I'll just throw in a random life gain card and call it a day. Or maybe I haven't drawn old man if I did bring him in. I don't know. But certainly at least one of the amnesias got left in, because there it was.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I feel a lot better about this game than last game because I'm really just cooking.
Yeah, and here comes another skeleton.
You know.
Mike's also drawn a lot of land this turn, but he's got 2 Triskelions in the graveyard and that falling star. You're just really out creaturing him at this point. He's got a lot of land and only 1 creature. Okay, so it looks like Mike has a real decision here. You're attacking with the Clockwork Avian. It's a 4/4 right now. He's got his 1/4/4 Tetravis. Does he block? He's in a tough spot. It's not looking good for Mike here.
He definitely is. So if he blocks, they'll trade if I pop it with a Triskelion arm, but at the same time he gets rid of one of my guys and gets rid of an arm, so like maybe it's still worth it. I don't know. That is kind of a tough call. And he's got, you know, enough life that he could take it, but I don't know. What's he do?
Okay, so John, it looks like you're attacking with the Ghost Ship and the Clockwork Avian here.
Yeah, because no matter what he blocks with, I can either just regenerate, or I can use trait tokens to finish off this guy. I'm in a pretty good position.
So Mike just has to take the damage straight up. So he takes 3 from the Clockwork and 2 from the Ghost Ship. So he takes 5, goes down to 9. Oh man, John, you're just pummeling him. Another Clockwork.
Yeah, I'm just on fire. Like, not only did I make him discard his hand, but now I'm just dropping threat after threat. It seems pretty bad for him. Yeah, Ivory Tower shouldn't be in my deck, though. I've gained exactly 1 life off of it. It's like just a bad card in this match.
Yeah. But even with that, you're still just like, man, you're just dropping a big dude every turn.
Yeah.
Also, let's be honest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He has 8 mana sources. He's got 2 cards in hand, and there's 4 non-land cards in his graveyard. So he has gotten completely mana flooded here, John. Have you seen this?
Yeah, he's drawn a lot of land. I mean, I've got 6 mana sources to his 8, but still.
Yeah, but look how many non-mana cards you have. You have 1, 2,
and
3,
I
4,
made
5,
him discard
6,
2 of his playable cards. So like, it's really lopsided.
From what we see on the board, he only has 4 cards that are not land that have been played. Like, he's gotten a ton of land, and then that amnesia making him discard the Triskelion and the Falling Star. that Triskelion Falling Star combo right there is what we talked about in sideboarding, and you just made him, chunk it in the graveyard. It's really rough.
Yeah. He needs an Inferno. No, that'll kill him.
Do you think Amnesia is going to end up being restricted at some point in Four Horsemen? I know that's been pointed in like 7-point Singleton.
I kind of laughed when they pointed it. It just doesn't seem like it's enough of a threat to get a point, but maybe. I mean, I know nobody likes Mind Twist, and it's kind of that same effect. I mean, you gotta have 6 mana to play it, so it's not always super effective, but it certainly can be.
Well, I guess Mike at this point is just hoping he can draw into Mirror Universe. I think that's his only out.
If he plays Mirror Universe this turn, it's already too late, I think. Because he could block, well, let's see, if I swung with everything, he could block 4 damage, take 6. Yeah, I guess if he played Mirror Universe right now, but any later, it's not going to be good.
I wonder if he sideboarded out his Candelabras altogether, because he's got all this mana. No Candelabra.
I don't know.
Okay, so he is transmuting. So he can transmute that Fellwar Stone, and he can put a Mirror Universe in play for 4 mana. And he's got the Workshop to pay the 3, so that transmute seems really good right now. Will it be enough?
I don't think he can use Workshop to pay for the difference with Transmute. I think he's going to have to use other lands, but he's got plenty. Because he's not actually casting the spell.
Oh. Interesting, okay.
So what's he get? Just another flyer? Just another Tetravis? Or does he get the Mirror Universe?
I think Mirror Universe is his only shot, right? Because
yeah. Oh. And then what if I don't have a boomerang and I can't kill him? I've got another clock. Oh, he gets a coffin. Okay.
I wonder why.
I just noticed that I have another Clockwork waiting in the wings there to come up next turn, though, sitting next to the Ivory Tower. So I think he's done for.
Why not get the Mirror Universe here?
Because I don't think it'll be fast enough. I think he'll die next turn. Because if I attack with everybody and he blocks 4, he's still going to take 10, 11. Yeah, so he'll just die. So I feel like I should just attack with everything here, but we'll see what I actually do.
Yep, there you go. That's a big, heavy swing right there. And he's at 9. Man, that's so rough. So he can put 1 in the coffin. I mean, I think he has to block Triskelion, right? Isn't that the right block here?
Yeah.
So that Triskelion...
Or coffin it, but if he does, he can never let it out.
So you're just using
I shoot him for 3.
Yeah, you're just using your counters right away. Okay, so he could block then the other Clockwork, and he could coffin the... Oh! Boomerang, wow.
Huh.
Sneaky. Okay. Man, I feel like he had a little bit of a way to survive this attack, but now you're going to have that Triskelion back in hand. So you popped him for 3. He goes down to 6, and then he takes... He's blocking, I guess, he coffins the other Clockwork and blocks the Ghost Ship, or...
I think he took 4. I don't think he blocked anything. Which he could have. He could have blocked
at least 1. So, by the way, we should talk about this after this game, but the way that Tawnos Coffin reads and the way that Clockwork Avian reads, when your Clockwork Avian comes into play, it should get 4 more counters, so it would be a 4/8 flyer.
Yeah, so the Clockwork's ability itself won't allow you to pay to exceed more than 4 counters.
Right.
But there's nothing stopping other cards from making it exceed 4 counters. So
it becomes an 8/8 flyer. It should be an 8/8 flyer right now.
Well, it'd be an 8/4 because it doesn't.
An 8/4 flyer. Yeah, sorry, 8/4 flyer. But that's actually huge, right? That's a reason to run Tawnos Coffin right there.
It's like a crash of rhinos, man.
Crash of rhinos. That's a throwback. What was that, Mirage? Okay, so here comes the other Triskelion on Mike's side. So that's at least some good news. And he did split off his Tetravites. Did you notice he's got his own special Tetravite tokens?
That's pretty cool.
So he split off his Tetravites. That's why he didn't want to block. He wanted to make it to next turn so he could get his Tetravites out. And they can either be targets for your other Triskelion or blockers.
How did he not die here, though, from my trike that I played? Did he counter it? Oh, he countered it.
He mana drained it. He had that mana drain ready and waiting for you, which was incredibly timely. So that mana drain
I'm like,
saved
whatever,
him.
dude. I'm just gonna swing.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can make the case for it. He's got the 3 little blockers there. So now he needs to coffin his Tetravis at the end of this turn. And see if he can buff his Tetravis back up. Or he could buff his Triskelion and get the Triskelion to have 6 counters. He's got some options here with that coffin. But he's only got 1, 2, he's got 3 mana available, and he's got one of it's City of Brass, so it'll damage him. Alright, so he coffins. So he puts his Tetravis in the coffin, and he blocks your 3 attackers. And your other Clockwork.
My other Clockwork should actually have more counters on it.
He blocked with the Tetravis, and then before damage step, he put the Tetravis in the coffin.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's going on here now?
He's popping it out of the coffin and then splitting it, which I don't actually...
Untap, no, because it comes back into play tapped. That doesn't work, right? You have to wait 1 turn.
No, that's fine. During the untap, it comes back, and then during the upkeep, he splits it.
Okay.
It's just the big one is tapped, right? Because
right. Okay.
It comes back tapped from the coffin.
But still not enough. Yeah, you just had him too low. Okay.
Too low.
Look at that, John. I saw the Fountain of Youth also was in your. So you put in all your life gain stuff.
Totally unnecessary. Look at that. I gained 1 life from that ivory tower, and it didn't factor into the game at all.
All right.
I still have 21 life right now, and he has 0.
All right. I'm gonna pause the video. Let's go back to the sideboards, okay? Because we gotta talk about this. All right. So it's clear that your deck just needs to be more aggressive. So you had sideboarded in.
I should just bring in the old men. I don't know why I didn't bring him in.
I saw your Tawnos Coffin, I saw your Ivory Tower, and I saw at least 1 Fountain of Youth. So I think you sideboarded in both Fountain of Youth, your Ivory Tower, and your Coffin, and you probably sideboarded out your Force Spikes.
Yeah.
Because you definitely left at least 1 Amnesian because you used it. So no.
I would guess that I just took out the 4 Force Spikes for the 4 cards you mentioned, for the 3 life gain cards in the coffin.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, but you're saying now you would do it differently, right?
Yeah, that just seems terrible. Like, why do I need to gain life against this? Like, I must have been spooked after being at such a low life total game 1, but you saw how in game 2, he never did me a single point of damage in game 2.
Right. Yeah, so, okay, what about the Felwar Stones? Did you have...
They're trash. They should come out. He has so much... I mean, I guess if he plays a City of Brass, they're good, but, like, he's got so many colorless lands, it seems like I should take him out. I probably don't, though.
Well, you could definitely take one out and put a desert in if you were thinking along those lines. Do you put the coffin in on your side or not?
Yeah, I like it because then it can remove like a flyer that's in my way, like a Tetravis, so that I can swing in with all my 2/4 flyers.
The other thing is do you need Maze of Ith?
Probably not.
If you're trying to attack more, I mean, Maze of Ith can be very good with combat tricks, but you've got so many creatures and you're putting so much pressure on him. You could make the justification to take your Maze of Ith out. So you could take out Maze of Ith, and you could take out one Felwar Stone. You could put in your desert, and you could put in that Tawnos Coffin, and then you could take out the 4 spikes and put in the Old Men.
Mm-hmm.
All right. For Mike's deck, we didn't see Book of Ross, but we saw Mike get mana flooded that last game. Like, he had 8 or 10 lands and only like 4 or 5 cards that he could actually play that weren't lands, and then you amnesia'd him. I mean, he was really mana flooded. I think that significantly impacted that last game. What do you think he should be sideboarding now that you've kind of saw how that match went?
I mean, his sideboard was... We thought before that he should just bring in the active volcanoes, which he still should. He didn't draw one last game, but, I mean, those would probably come in. And then, I don't know, what do you think? Maybe the extra fissure to deal with things like Clockwork Avian or Trank?
Well, the card above fissure, I'm starting to think about. Your deck is so fast and has so many creatures. Maybe he should put that Tabernacle in there because, if you're having to pay 1 for each creature, it could slow down your mana draining. It could stop you from amnesia'ing him. I'm thinking he needs to put that Tabernacle in there. But these Ring of Maroof and the Book of Ross, he's backed into a corner here because you have so many creatures versus he's got 8. His creature count is really, really, really low. So maybe he has to go all in. Maybe he has to put the Abyss in. Maybe he has to put in the Tabernacle and the Fissure, and and of course he has to put in all 4 of those active volcanoes and the Falling Star. So I think he's got to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4. He's got 8 cards he needs to put in, and I think he's got to take out the 3 rings. He's got to take out probably two of those candelabras. He's got to take out that rocket launcher, and he's got
those Book of Ross.
And the Book of Ross are gonna really hurt him on life. But it sucks because the Book of Ross is one of his free transmutes to get Mirror into play. Okay, so he's got 3, 2, and so he's got 6 cards, and we have 8 sideboard cards we need in. Oh, well, we've got the 2 candelabras. Yeah, so if he does the 3 Ring of Maroof, the 2 candelabras, the 2 books, and the rocket launcher, that's 8 cards. He could put in Abyss, the extra Falling Star, the 4 active volcanoes, the Fissure, and the Tabernacle. I think that's what his choice is here, because you just run him over with so many creatures.
That sounds good.
All right, so let's go back to the match, and let's get onto a count. Shuffling up, pile shuffling. All right, John, go to 107. Go to 107 exactly.
It takes us a minute to shuffle. If you go to 109.02, that
okay.
should be good.
All right, you're still. Oh yeah, you're still shuffling over there. 109. All right, let's just go to 109 exactly.
Sounds good.
Dang, I can't quite. There we are. All right, 109. All right, on the count of 3. 1,
Yep.
2, 3. Okay. So, you're doing yours. You're 7. Let's see if anybody mulligans here. Nope, he's starting off with the mine again.
Same one too. That's funny. He's played that exact same mine all 3 games. Although maybe he's not doing multiple arts. Maybe he has multiples. Maybe he has,
Oh, you do. Look at this, John. You're force spiking his turn 2 Fell War. Wow,
that's pretty funny.
So you did not.
I'm surprised they even left him in, but it's pretty funny.
You clearly didn't take up force spikes.
Stopping his ramping seems good because that card might not be good again later. But and then I play my own Fell War.
And you get your own Fell War. Well, okay. At least he's got a colored mana now, so that your Fell War works. He could have.
Yeah, he turned it on for me. That was nice of him.
He could have just not played that. This is all right. He's got double.
Well, I've got no 4-drop though, so like that's that's something. No 4-drop and no 5-drop.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, here it comes. Here comes the clockwork.
Oh, yeah, okay.
What he really needs here is the mana drain into the mirror universe.
Oh, that'd be sick. Or just mana drain into a trike.
Or into a trike, yeah.
Probably.
But no such luck for Mike.
Did he just play a maze?
Yeah, there's the maze.
Gross.
So he's doing a little bit better on some defense, and you came out much slower this game. But that he would have 5 mana now with the Fellwar Stone. That's really going to slow him down, that early force spike, and you're getting out another flyer here.
I mean, if he didn't have the maze there, though, like he'd really be in trouble, right? Because I'd just be beaten in now.
And I'm kind of surprised that Mike was not running Remove Soul in his deck.
Yeah, I think that, well, I mean, he's just leaning really hard into the color list, right? He's barely playing any colored cards, but I think Remove Soul is pretty good in this format.
Okay, so
except for, against the creatureless control decks, but you can just side it out, I guess.
So he gets the Coffin. He's got the Maze to turn back your Avian, and it still attacks, so he loses a counter. He takes 2 from the Azure Drake, so he's on the 10-turn clock now. But he does have a Coffin that he can activate this next turn. Another City of Brass. Doesn't really want that damage, but... So right now he would have 6 mana, or he would have had 6 mana 1 turn earlier if you hadn't had force spiked that Fellwar Stone. Finally gets to 6 mana now, but it looks like he's still not doing much. All right, so you're drawing. He's passing. You're drawing with the Jalum Tome. You've done really well getting your Jalum Tome in 2 out of 3 of these games.
I think there's only 1 in the deck.
Yeah.
Sometimes I play 2, but sometimes I only play 1. I don't know. I've gone back and forth on that too in the different builds of this. Ooh, what's he fissuring?
Yes.
Clockwork.
He fissured that Clockwork. So he got rid of that guy. And he's got the Coffin to deal with your Drake, so that's pretty good. Now you've got a Coffin coming down.
I mean, he's effectively answered all my threats, though, so I really am probably struggling here for a way to try to kill him.
Right. Ah, amnesia again. Yikes. Oh man, brutal. He lost Drax's Restoration, Falling Star, and Triskelion. Again, the Falling Star Triskelion. John, these amnesias are just gut-wrenching. And of course, he ends up with a Fell War Stone, completely no help. And now you drop Triskelion after emptying his hand, and that's not the card he wants to put in the coffin, but you've got a coffin of your own. But he elects to untap the coffin anyway. Are you seeing this, John?
Yeah. I mean, he can't really just take 4 every turn, right? Like he needs to coffin it before I start coffining it, I think. Like he needs to coffin it now while I'm tapped out.
Right.
I think that's why he did that.
Yeah, but he's targeting your Azure Drake. No?
No, that's weird. No, he's got to target the Trike.
Yeah, because he's gonna have to keep it tapped forever, because otherwise.
Oh yeah, he'll have to keep it tapped forever, but it stops him from taking 4 a turn. Although he still has a Mazavith too, so.
Yeah, but if he doesn't do that, then you'll start doing it and get all those extra counters.
Yeah.
So
Draft's Restoration is a card that I've thought about maybe playing as a one-of. I don't know that I have ever run it any of the months that I've played blue, but
right.
Late game you could stack a bunch of Trikes and Clockwork Avians on top of your deck and just start slamming them again when you're draw going. Man, I just will not stop fidgeting with my lands. Get this guy some Ritalin. What? Oh, I discarded the Force Spike with the... Yeah, okay. I was like, what am I Force Spiking? Boomerang. I like it.
Well, as the Trike beatdown continues, you've done a really good job of drawing a lot of your Triskelions these games.
Well, this is the same one. So I boomeranged his coffin, and mine came back. And now he's electing to, rather than replay the coffin, he's just playing a Tetravis, but I remove Soul It. So I'm really just like hitting him at every angle here. It's kind of disheartening for him because every answer he tries to play, I've got something for it. So I coffin my own Trike. And I untap and pop him out. Now he's got... Well, he should be tapped right now. Well, let's make sure I don't attack with him. Okay. Yeah, so no attacks because of the Mazavith. So apparently I'm just going to keep popping him in and out of the coffin until he's big enough to just blow him away in one shot.
Yeah, it's the guaranteed outcome, right?
So now we've got this little battle of coffins because one of us can coffin in response to the other guy coffining. So, oh, I mana drain his coffin. My God, I have an answer for everything this game.
Jeez,
that's so mean.
Man, yeah, this has been a really rough game for Mike. I mean, that second turn Force Spike slowing him down on mana, and then you amnesia'd him, and you've got the mana drain for his one little out here on the coffin. It's looking bad for Mike.
Just all the answers. Must be what it feels like to play against Peter.
I hope we're not too hard on Peter.
So I recall and I get my mana drain back, and then what else do I get back? Something else. I don't know. I'm deciding, I guess. I'm like, well, really, I just wanted this mana drain. But what do I get? Maybe I get Boomerang just because I really like Boomerang. Or do I get a Clockwork Avian to have a threat? No, I get a Remove Soul. Okay. So now, I mean, that's just so brutal because I've already answered so many of his things, and now my hand's reloaded with counterspells as I just sit here and build counters on my Triskelion. You know, it's kind of a hopeless situation for him, it feels like.
You know, I was just thinking we really haven't seen a draw in any of our games before.
No, it doesn't happen that often, and we really haven't seen it happen in any of the recorded matches that we have.
Yeah.
I think that might be the first recorded match where we have one for this format.
It is. Yeah, I think it is the first one.
And he just runs a trike into my Remove Soul that he knows I have because he just has to, right? Like, he has to play through those counters. There's no other way.
More difficult decisions and difficult moments for Mike. This must have been a really frustrating game for him.
Oh, well, especially when it was such a tight game one, and then he was able to, he wasn't able to get a win, but he's able to get a draw. And then game two, he literally didn't scratch me. It was 21-1, at the end of the game. And now, he's been amnesia'd, he's been countered, he's been boomeranged, he's been countered again. It's just really, I guess it's why I have a hard time moving away from the blue deck, because it just has a lot of answers to a lot of things, and it's tough. I've tried to build other stuff, and it just always feels like it comes up short for me. And I don't really want to play a enchantment controlled type deck, but I need to be able to answer those decks and try to beat them, right? So I just feel like Boomerang and Time Elemental are kind of my only outs against that nonsense.
Well, and now Presence of the Master showing up more and more.
So I counter his... well, I guess I do that just because I know I'm so close to the win. But I feel like I could have just let him have that transmute. What's it really going to do? Ugh! So with that on the stack, I should coffin my own guy. I wonder if I do or not. Oh, I show the audience there that I have a Clockwork Avian in my hand. So I don't. I guess I just wait and do it in response. I should have done it with his coffin on the stack. I should have coffined my guy again, but I didn't. I think that would have been the better thing. But I guess I just figure since he's got nothing, I'll attack with it. And that forces him to coffin it. And then if he does, I can just coffin mine. Or I can just kill him. Because I got 2 in the air and 12 arms to shoot.
Right. Man. It's rough.
So this should be game right here because, well, I guess he has coffin and maze. Damn. He's got Coffin and Maze. So I can't quite get there this turn. So I get, what does he do? Does he Maze the Trike and Coffin the Flyer, or does he Coffin the Trike and Maze the Flyer? They're both bad. I mean, he's just got to pick which option he wants to go with, but neither of them are particularly good. Because if he goes to Coffin my Trike, I'll just Coffin it in response, probably.
Right. Yeah, this is a lose-lose scenario for Mike.
So he Coffins my Flyer and he Mazes my Trike. My 13/13 Triskelion.
Right.
He's a Well, I guess I get impatient. I finally fire those arms off. Do him 12. Coffin my Trike. So why did I do it that way instead of just letting him go in case he had like a boomerang or something? I guess I just wanted to guarantee the damage.
He didn't have boomerang in his deck.
Yeah, he doesn't even have boomerang in his deck, but... So I get the damage in, I Coffin the guy. So as soon as he pops back out, he's dead.
Yeah.
So... I don't know what else he could possibly do here.
He probably wanted to concede much earlier.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Like, this must have been a terribly frustrating game for Mike to play. And like you said...
Well, especially, after that game 1, it was so good. And then games 2 and 3, he, literally never damaged me the whole game.
Well, it just shows that, your creature
count... Oh, and there's his Mirror Universe, 1 turn too late. He's got it, but
man.
It doesn't matter because...
Yeah, he was hanging in there to get into the mirror, hopefully, right? I mean, that's probably why he hadn't conceded.
Yeah, he was hoping that he could flop life totals with me, and then, I don't know. But that's all she wrote, so there we go.
All right. Well, so that is going to do it for us for this top 8 match. Blue Steel Robots versus Mirrortron Robots. And so, John, you proceed with it. It's technically it's a draw and 2, and you're going to proceed on to semifinals. And we'll cover that next match in our next video. Thanks for joining us, everybody. John, thanks for commenting on your match and for recording this match. And we'll see everybody next time.
See ya.